of challenges of teachers and police officers accessing medical services. The answers to that will be provided by the Departmental Committee on Matters Health. The National Cohesion and Integration Bill, National Assembly Bills number 74 of the year 2023 by the Chairperson Committee on National Cohesion and Equal Opportunities is currently at the second stage, being one of the bills before Parliament. And from the signals coming from the chamber, the quorum has been attained. So kindly allow me to hand over for this live broadcast. Enjoy your viewing.
I have a quorum to transact business. Clerk, proceed.
Order number 1, administration of oath. Order number 2, communication from the chair. Order number 3, messages. Order number 4, petitions. Order number 5, papers.
Majority Leader. Majority Leader, I know Owen Bayer has rushed out to look for members to constitute quorum. Honorable Melly, you are sufficiently senior. Can you present those papers? Owen Bayer is here. He'll do it.
Sorry, Mr. Speaker, you know how to do the work of the
Sorry, Bowen, I know you're also senior, but I saw...
Bowen is senior.
I saw Melly because he was standing. Go ahead.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the House today, Wednesday, May 27th, 2025, in the afternoon sitting. A. Reports of the Auditor General and financial statements for the years ended 30th June 2023 and 30th June 2024 and certificates therein in respect of 1. Borabu Teachers Training College, 2. Kapcherop Training Technical and Vocational College, 3. Kenyanya Teachers Training College, and 4. University of Kabianga Enterprise and Services Limited. B. Reports of the Auditor General financial statements for the year ended 30th June 2024 and the certificates therein in respect of Ebukanga Technical and Vocational College, Kenya African National Union, KANU, Kenya Dairy Board Staff Mortgage Scheme, 4. Kenya Maritime Authority Staff Mortgage and Car Loan Scheme, 5. Kenya Veterinary Board, 6. Mabadiliko Part of Kenya, 7. Mwea Rice Mills Limited, 8. National Land Commission Staff Car Loan Scheme Fund, 9. National Rainbow Coalition, 10. National Reconstruction Alliance, 11. Salaries and Remuneration Commission, Mortgage and Car Loan, 12. State Department for Housing and Urban Development, 13. State Department for Performance and Delivery Management, 14. Wajir Girls Secondary School, 15. Wajir South Technical and Vocational College, 16. Water Services Regulatory Board Car Loan and Mortgage Fund, and 17. Honorable Speaker, Western Kenya Rice Mills Limited. Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay.
Thank you. Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion. Order number 7, questions and statements.
Before we go to statements, honorable members, allow me to acknowledge in the Speaker's Gallery Civilie Secondary School from Navaholo, Kakamega, and in the public gallery, Kieni Girls High School, Runyenjes, Embu, and Tumtum Girls High School from Mathira, Nyeri. I've been asked by Honorable Wangwe to give him an opportunity to welcome the school from Navaholo, and he can do so to all the 2 other schools.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Yes.
Honorable Speaker, allow me to first and foremost appreciate and thank you for giving me this opportunity to welcome the great Civilian Secondary School from my constituency, Navaholo. Honorable Speaker, this school is the best school, number 2 in the entire county of Kakamega, displacing so many national schools. And Honorable Speaker, as much as we are in the rural constituency, they demonstrate a very good performance in terms of academic excellence. Allow me to remind them that, Honorable Speaker, coming to the National Assembly today is only but a beginning for you, that as age catches up with us in future, you are the future leaders, and I want to welcome you that in future you come and sit where we are. For the entire student population that has visited the National Assembly today, I want to take this opportunity to welcome you to this great August House. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and I appreciate.
Thank you, Murugara. You want to also jump into that boat?
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Thank you for allowing me to jump into the boat to welcome the young students who are both in the public and the Speaker's gallery, pointing out Kieni Girls from Embu and Tumutumu from Nyeri, and the other school from Navaholo. These are all great schools, girls' schools, very well known in the country. They perform so well, and this is an opportunity to them to come and see what their leaders do here. So may they feel welcome to observe the proceedings and to feel that today they have actually had an interaction with the leaders their parents elect and the leaders they themselves aspire to be in the future. May they feel welcome. Thank you very much.
Thank you. On behalf of the House and myself, I welcome the students and their teachers and those accompanying them to the House of Parliament. Now we'll go to the statements. Mohammed Daoud, member for Wajir East. The response is from administration. Russell, are you ready? I was called by your chairman, Tongoyo. He said he'll be here at 3:30 to issue a statement on the Koimburi disappearance and reappearance. 3:30.
Mr. Speaker, maybe you give us a few minutes.
Tindi Mwale, that is also to you. Are you ready with that? Do you need another few minutes? Administration, put your papers together. Let's go to a request by Paul Abor. Is Paul Abor in the house? Paul Abor? Not in the house. Request put aside for another opportunity next week. Mumina Bonaya. Mumina Bonaya. Not here. Cases. Yours is a request, right? Go ahead.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker, for granting me the opportunity to make the following request. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order number 44, section 2 and C, I wish to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Education regarding the recent declaration of certain positions in Moi University redundant. Honorable Speaker, on 2nd April 2025, the Moi University issued a notice of intention to declare a significant number of positions in the institution redundant due to alleged financial constraint. The affected staff presumed that the process would be transparent, consultative, and lawful. It is alleged that the institution procured the service of an external consultant to undertake this exercise. On 13 May 2025, the institution proceeded to issue termination letters without exhausting consultative process with the staff. The redundancy has rendered many jobless, thereby affecting their source of livelihood and those of their dependents. In addition, the list of the positions declared redundant allegedly include names of those who had since left the service through retirement, those deceased, or those whose employment had already been terminated. The process raises questions on whether the payroll of the institution had been audited. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I seek for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Education on the following. Number one, a detailed report on the process undertaken by Moi University in their declaration of certain positions as redundant in their letter dated 13 May 2025. Steps that were taken by the institution to ensure transparency and fairness, including providing a report regarding the procurement process of the external consultant. Indication of whether the university explored other options with regards to declaration of redundancies, including retention of staff on rationalized pay. Number four, a detailed list of all positions in the institution and the staff establishment, specifying a list of those rendered redundant, the names of the affected staff, and their ethnic background. Number five, report on whether a human resource and financial audit was undertaken by the institution and the outcome in relation to the process, if any. And lastly, measures being taken by the government to ensure that all public universities uphold fair labor practices. Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. I submit. Thank you.
Yes, who is from education? Julius? Yes, DK, just 1 minute. You want to joyride on that?
Not even joyriding. The matter is so serious as it concerns the whole of Uasin Gishu, and I'll beg that you just give me 1 minute so that I can add my voice on this very serious matter.
That is what joyriding means.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Thanks, Speaker. Thank you very much. The matter being raised by CPA Honorable Ruto is so serious. The fact that about 890 employees are being given letters under the redundancy program is so serious, given that if you look at the problems that has been facing Moi University, since 2018, they have not been able to submit their liabilities, including pensions, including loans that the staff had taken. Now these staff being told to go home. They have no pension, they have pension arrears, they have loan arrears in the bank, and the letter is reading that they are going to be paid 15 days. Commuted 15 days for the years they have worked. Say that if somebody has worked for 10 years, then he's going to be paid 150 days.
The 1 minute is over.
So what we are saying is that we had a sitting with the CS as members from Uasin Gishu, and we had agreed that no staff is going to be laid. We had agreed that all those staff who have been declared redundant are going to be deployed in other universities. So what we are asking the ministry is that what has changed? And if at all those employees are to go home, then the university should clear their pension.
DK, I'm sure you live in Kenya. You cannot say that you'll deploy employees of one university to another. Each university is independent of the other. Yes, you can't say that. I'm sure you know the law. Well, yes, Bowen. Melly will answer that, but basic knowledge we know is that you cannot transfer an accountant from University of Nairobi
and in addition,
to Meru University or to any other.
And in addition, Honorable Speaker, I support my good friend here. But in addition, just a point of information to the Honorable DK, Moi University is not a university of Uasin Gishu. It is not a university of Uasin Gishu. It is a university, Mr. Speaker, where all employees, or almost all the employees, they are from all over Kenya.
It's a national university.
It's a national university, Mr. Speaker. And many of those employees, they come from Bungoma, they are from Mombasa, everywhere. It is not a Uasin Gishu business. It's a concern for all of us. It's a concern of Kenyans.
You can't be more right. Melly?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the issue raised by Member for KCS is very weighty and very important. And I'll fast track this and make sure that I give
Can you
detail.
bring a response in 2 weeks? We
Yes.
have a very heavy backlog of
Yes.
statements. 2
I'll be
weeks.
able to bring it in 2 weeks or even earlier than that. Thank you.
Okay, whenever you are ready.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Abdul Haro, a response to your statement by Energy. Honorable Chairman, are you ready?
Honorable Speaker, I've not gotten the response yet from the ministry, but again, as you're directed, Honorable Speaker, you remember you're directed that we sit with the members of parliament from that area, all of us, and now that we are back, then we can be able to agree on the date so that we can be able to synergize all the issues.
Your colleague is right behind you, so
Thank you.
discuss and agree and advise the clerk.
Okay.
Muchangi Karemba. Muchangi Karemba, that is a statement from Chair Health, but I've been advised by Honorable Nyikal that he's not ready. We'll put it to tomorrow, but tomorrow we're already crowded. Put it to Tuesday. Honorable Nyikal, Tuesday. Daniel Carrido, member for Igembe Central, is he in the house? Mumina Bonaya. Honorable Meli, Chairman Education, are you ready with the response for Honorable Mumina Bonaya? Statement number 5.
Yes, Honorable Speaker, we had invited the CS, but he has not appeared before us because he had an official visit outside the country. Therefore, we could not handle that.
So you are not ready?
We are not ready, yes.
How much time do you want?
1 week.
So next week on Wednesday, you can list it, clerk, for the morning session. Yes, DK?
Thank you, Speaker. You remember just before we went to recess, I had a very strong statement on those teachers who have not been employed and they are over 45 years. You had clearly ordered, I think the chair is not listening, you had clearly ordered the chair that when the session resumes, he will come up with a statement. And I was here yesterday, I waited, I didn't hear anything from him. And today, chances are he might not be having anything. Maybe he can tell us what is really happening.
DK appears to know your predicament. Do you have a response?
I don't have a response, Honorable Speaker, and I think I had engaged him, and he's aware that I don't have a statement. So I don't know why he rose and said the same. Very unprocedural.
In any case, it's not listed.
Yes.
Let's go back to administration. Honorable Raso, are you ready with any? Which one?
Discriminatory screening protocol.
That is the one of Mohammed Dawood.
Yes.
Dawood in the house? Yes, go ahead.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the member for Wajir East constituency, Honorable Mohammed Dawood, has requested a statement on alleged discriminatory screening protocols imposed on passengers flying to and from the northeastern region. The honorable member sought to be informed justification for continued requirement for special clearance for flights to and from Wajir, the reasons for rescreening passengers from Wajir upon arrival at Wilson Airport, the measures put in place to ensure uniform screening procedure for all domestic flights, and fourth, the steps taken to revise the Air Navigation Regulation 1985. Honorable Speaker, On the first request for justification, the requirement for special flight clearance is critical due to the significant security challenges present in restricted regions, including northeastern part of Eastern Coast, Nyanza, and Rift Valley. These areas face persistent threats of terrorism, regional stability, and technological limitation. Current air traffic control radar systems do not detect aircraft flying around or close to the Kenya border below 10,000 feet, reinforcing the need for special clearance to ensure accountability and oversight of low-altitude flight. The clearance are valid for 3 months, with renewal options available 1 month in advance. This system has proven efficient with no significant operational challenges. Security concerns in restricted areas remain the primary reason for retaining the clearance requirement, particularly for unmanned aerodromes. The special clearance requirement ensures that all air operations, regardless of location, adhere to strict security measures to prevent unauthorized flights. The Aeronautical Information Publication Guides air navigation must align with periodic updates mandated by the International Civil Aviation Organization. Second part, Honorable Speaker, the reasons for rescreening passengers. This rescreening is informed by the prevailing security situation in those regions. Third, measures put in place to ensure uniform screening procedures for all domestic flight. Honorable Speaker, the rescreening is not meant to discriminate any of the passengers. Rather, it is meant to enhance security measures for the passengers and the security of the nation. Fourth, the steps being taken to revise the Air Navigation Regulation 1985. Honorable Speaker, the current clearance process is functional and there are no difficulties in obtaining a special flight clearance in light of the prevailing security situation. It is imperative that the special flight clearance requirement remain in force. The Ministry remains open to further feedback and will consider any substantial evidence that may emerge warranting a review of those measures in the future. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Yes, you are done? Daud, are you done, Raso?
Mike.
Give Honorable Raso the mic.
I am done on the statement sought by Honorable Daud.
So you sit and wait for any clarification you may wish to have. Daud, if you are satisfied, we move to the next.
I am definitely not satisfied, Mr. Speaker.
Go ahead and seek clarification.
Mr. Speaker, I am surprised that the chairman, who comes from Marsabit, will talk about areas near Somali border. Marsabit is hundreds of kilometers from Somali border, and I wonder why Marsabit is also part of the restricted airspace. Mr. Speaker, this answer is just a canned answer that has been given by the minister. The minister doesn't seem to know the security situation in northern Kenya. I come from Wajir. The airport is in a military base. The airport is guarded by Kenya Air Force, Kenya Army, General Service Unit, the National Intelligence, and American forces. If that airport is insecure, I wonder which airport in Kenya is secure. So, Mr. Speaker, I think I will request that the minister be called into the House to explain this kind of answers that is just given for the sake of giving answers. People flying from Wajir who are screened in that airport, which is a military airport, are screened here in Wilson Airport. Wilson is like a marketplace, while Wajir Airport is a security area. And here is the chairman who comes from the area giving, just parroting again, answers given by a minister who doesn't know what he's talking about. If there is any insecure area, is the area where the minister comes from, which is Kerio Valley. And it's not part of these restricted areas. So, Mr. Speaker, I'm not satisfied.
Yes.
I need more answers.
Bashir. Give Major Bashir.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the answers given by the minister, as Honorable Dawood has said, really don't make sense. The regulations that they are relying on were published in 1985, before the new constitution. So as we speak, those regulations don't even have the full force of law. And I want to request that these regulations be brought before this House so that we can look at them critically to see whether they are fit for purpose. They can't talk about insecurity all the time and deny Kenyans the opportunity to travel seamlessly in the country. So, Honorable Speaker, I want to request, even through your office, that those regulations were done in 1985, before the new constitution. So they are not even, don't have the full force of law. They are illegal in the first place. So I want to urge them that they should be brought before the House and before the Committee of Delegated Session, so we can look at them critically.
Thank you. Junet. Raso, I hope you are listening.
Mr. Speaker, this matter that has been raised by Honorable Dawood is a very, very important matter. Mr. Speaker, the so-called regulations are saying that if you are to fly from here to Migori, you must seek permission from the Ministry of Interior. Mr. Speaker, and emergencies can happen, anything can happen. You see, before the new constitution came into place, the ministers could do regulations the way they want. But now these regulations don't have the force of law, because they have never been passed in this House. So as far as we are concerned as a House, those regulations are not enforced. We want to tell the airlines to ignore it, because until the regulations are brought here and they are passed by this House so that they can have force of law, Mr. Speaker, that is just an opinion by the ministry that if you want to fly to Migori or Wajir, you seek permission from us. That's just an opinion. But if they want to make sure that it is followed as law, then they must bring it to this House so that it can have the force of law. So from today, Mr. Speaker, make a communication here that those regulations were before the new constitution. Those were just like any other thing. They are not in force at all. So I think, Mr. Honorable Dawood, I know most of the airlines, some of them belong to your relatives. Just tell them to ignore those people. Yeah, there's no need of asking for permission. Tell your relatives to ignore those people.
Yakub, is it Honorable Yakub? Honorable Yusuf, sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. I want to also add my voice to this issue. Mr. Speaker, the answer read by Honorable Raso is completely misplaced. Mr. Speaker, what the minister, the CS, is saying is not here nor there. He's talking about, he's giving justification of somebody who was screened by a military officer, by a police officer, by KAA, again rescreened in the airport here. Mr. Speaker, it doesn't make sense. That person, while he was airborne, flying from Wajir, probably to Wilson Airport, how can he have other security issues? Where does he get bombs or anything that will going to create problems to this country? It doesn't make sense. Mr. Speaker, the CS said it is not discriminatory, but I believe that is a discriminatory issue. Nowhere else or no passenger from any other airport is screened in this country unless they are only those who are coming from northern Kenya. Mr. Speaker, we want this regulation to be brought to this House, debated, seen, and again, it's a null and void and ratified to be uniform to everywhere within the country. Mr. Speaker, what the President of the Republic of Kenya was advocating for is equality.
Yes.
and justice for all of us. We have talked about
Point made.
we have talked about the removal.
Yes, Owen, you've made your point, Honorable Member.
Honorable Speaker, I want to speak on the issue of regulations as enunciated by the leader here, minority leader. You see, the issue of regulations, the law states that the minister may bring regulations, may. Does not, it's not actually compelled to do that. That's one. Two, the traditions in this house is that regulations only come to the floor of the house when they have been rejected by the committee, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, we need to look at this so that actually regulations find their way.
Honorable Bias.
Mr. Speaker,
yes.
Let me educate my colleague leader. Under the new constitution, anything that should have force of law must pass through this house. So regulations are subsidiary legislations. If a minister wants to enforce them, he must bring them here so that we can put soul of force of law into it. So don't erode the powers of the house. Don't erode the powers of the house. He may bring, that's a choice, but if he wants to use the regulations, he must bring them here. Yeah.
Yes, Owen.
Absolutely what Honorable Junet is saying, and we have the same spirit.
You are agreeing with him, but what
yes,
you are
my
saying,
problem,
what you are saying,
yes,
had a different meaning.
No. Or to the extent of what he has said, I agree with him. But Honorable Speaker, there's
when the law says may bring,
yes,
and if it doesn't bring, then there are no regulations. It's as simple as that.
Correct, Honorable Speaker. But what I have a problem with, and which probably we need to look at rules and procedure, Honorable Speaker, is the regulations that have been rejected by the committee will be brought to this house and tabled at the tabled for approval or for adoption. But if the committee does not have a problem with the regulations, the committee decision passes.
Order, Honorable Mbaya.
Yes.
You are pursuing an abstract argument that has no relevance. The issue is there are regulations in force. Your colleagues are saying they have never been brought to this house, so they are not regulations. So, Raso, can you answer that?
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I believe the minister was very clear when he was responding to this. And he was saying the threat of terrorism. If honorable members in this house are saying no to that, then they must vigorously challenge that position. Secondly, regional stability. If the neighboring countries are unstable, and we have problems of small arms and light weapons, and even things like mortars and rockets that are able to get into our country. Then the third one is said technological limitation, that if an aircraft is flying below the radar, that is, if it is flying below 10,000 feet, it means it can fly below the radar. So for that reason, what the minister has said, for security of everybody and everything, that is why they are enforcing this. But if we can challenge to say that there is no need to have that, he is actually saying in closing, we will consider any substantial evidence that may emerge warranting a review of measures that are in place. So I think it is very clear. The minister is saying these are the issues, but if you have compelling reasons that why it must be lifted, he said you come forward and give the necessary evidence for that. And I know some of the honorable colleagues who are challenging this are owners of aircrafts. I think there's freedom of using the Kenyan airspace. Yes, there's freedom of using the Kenyan airspace, but security of Kenya remains paramount. Mr. Speaker, I beg to...
Yes, Bashir, you are the owner of aircrafts?
Honorable Speaker, the issue is not about who doesn't own aircrafts. The issue is that the regulations that are currently operating are illegal. They have not been passed by this house. So even we want you to, Mr. Speaker, to give direction that either they bring to the committee or they are declared illegal. It's not about who owns, who doesn't own. They are owned by Kenyans. That's the fact. So let's agree that they are illegal and they are operating without the law.
Elachi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I think we agree. We agree as a House, yes, the regulations must come. But I agree also with Honorable Rasso that indeed, in terms of security,
Order, women rep for Garissa.
even when you are flying from the US and you pass through Dubai, you go through security and you went through security. So for me, I think the paramount question here is that we must take care of security also. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
David, Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Let me speak to this. The regulations are normally published and approved by Parliament, and they say in force for 10 years. After 10 years, they lapse. What the relevant ministry should do is either bring new regulation, publish new regulations in the Kenya Gazette. They will take effect immediately for almost 28 days while the Committee on Delegated Legislation is considering them. Or the other option is they have lapsed, that means there is no existence of regulations. Or the other option that what they can do is they can come and seek from the committee extension of the regulations while they produce new regulations. So it's just that there is inaction by the minister. So what should happen is the Committee on Delegated Legislation should summon the minister. But I think someone from this house must move that committee to summon the minister and ask the minister, you're using regulations that have lapsed. You either need to have those extended or republish a fresh set of regulations which can be considered. That is, I think, the way it's supposed to work. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Yes, Junet.
Mr. Speaker, there's a bit of confusion. Mr. Speaker, what we are discussing here is not the persons who are being carried by the aeroplanes. Those people should be subjected to screening because every airport, you must be screened. What we are discussing are the aircraft. Mr. Speaker, if today yourself, because you have to go for work to Wajir or Migori, for example, and you are to leave tomorrow morning at 8 for that work, the airplane that's supposed to carry you, Mr. Speaker, must seek permission from the Ministry of Interior that we are carrying the Speaker of the National Assembly to Migori. Can we have permission to take him there? Mr. Speaker, how do we live in this country like that? And you are first class citizen. Leave alone Dawood and this group was second class. This one's, there's no problem. Why should that happen to people like me, Mr. Speaker, from Migori, who's also 1.5 class? I'll not be like you, but 1.5 class, Mr. Speaker. So that's the problem. Well, it is the aircraft people are discussing, not the people. The people must be screened. The people must be put through screening and everything. But why should an aircraft seek permission to go to Migori? That's the question I'm asking the minister.
Honorable Rasso, this seems to cut across security and transport. Talk to your ministry that you oversight and advise them if they have any regulations and have not been brought to this house, then they are not regulations. So they can bring the regulations, the committee will look at them, approve them, amend them in whatever form, then they'll get a force of law. I agree with you, we can't compromise security, neither should we in the name of security do anything illegal.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, well guided.
Which other one do you have?
For Butere girls.
Is Tindi Mwale here? He's not here. So the statement is stayed. They'll seek another date from the clerk's office. Is Paul Abor here? Not here. Let's go to Mama Zamzam. Is she here? You have her statement?
Yes, Honorable Speaker, regarding the death of Mr. Yusuf Ali Abdi. Honorable Speaker, the Member of Parliament for Mombasa County, Honorable Zamzam Mohammed, requested a statement regarding the unfortunate death of Mr. Yusuf Ali Abdi following the partial collapse of the demolished building in Mombasa. The member sought to be informed measures taken by the government to support the family of the late Mr. Yusuf Ali Abdi. Secondly, status report on the investigation into the collapse of the building. One, following the incident, a multi-agency response team was activated to retrieve the body of Yusuf Ali Abdi, a 36-year-old male adult. Through this coordinated effort, the body of the deceased was successfully retrieved from the rubble of the collapsed building and taken to Coast General Hospital mortuary for preservation and autopsy. Postmortem examination conclusively determined that the cause of death was due to multiple injuries sustained from the collapse of the building. Standard police procedures were conducted and the body was handed over to the family for final interment at Kikowani Cemetery. An inquest file number 1/2025 was officially opened by DCI Urban to facilitate further inquiry into the circumstances surrounding his death. The case is pending under investigation. 2. Status report on the investigation. Honorable Speaker, on 2nd April 2025 at around 1840 hours, the building partially collapsed, setting onto its basement, hence becoming structurally unstable. A multi-agency investigation team was immediately constituted, led by officials drawn from the Ministry of Public Works Headquarters, Nairobi, to establish the root cause of the structural failure. Investigations are currently at an advanced stage, and upon conclusion of the inquiry, appropriate legal action will be taken against any individual or entity found culpable in accordance with the law. I submit, Honorable Speaker.
Now, Mazamzam, you're satisfied?
Mheshimiwa Spika, sijaridhika kwa sababu mimi nilitaka kujua waingie kwa kina. Tujue yule ambaye alikuwa anajenga mjengo ule aliweza kutumia njia ambayo ni sawa, na kwa nini amejenga mjengo ambao ameongezea juu hata zaidi ikashinda zile nguvu za chini. Mheshimiwa Spika, ndio huyu Yusuf aweze kupatikana pale katika mtihani mpaka akapoteza maisha yake. Mheshimiwa Spika, Yusuf alikuwa ni mfanyikazi tu wa pale, mwanabiashara mdogo wa pale Marikiti, na ameacha mjane na watoto. Mpaka sasa hatujui familia yake wanakula namna gani, bado tunaambiwa inachunguza na muda umechukua mrefu sana. Mheshimiwa Spika, kwa hiyo mimi naomba wizara ambayo inahusika, ambayo nimeuliza maswali, waweze kunambia ule mke mjane wa Yusuf na familia yake mpaka sasa amefidiwa ama hajafidiwa, manake tayari keshazikwa na mjane ataka kula, watoto ataka kusoma na kila kitu. Mheshimiwa Spika, na kisha tujue hatua gani imechukuliwa kwa yule ambaye alikuwa anajenga mjengo ule, badala ya ghorofa 6 akapeleka ghorofa 11. Mheshimiwa Spika, asante sana.
Honorable Raso, have you established any criminal culpability?
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I do appreciate what Honorable Zamzam is raising. Indeed, this was a very unfortunate incident. Because in this particular response by the minister, actually is saying that there was a structural problem with the building. And following the death of Yusuf, what they have done is to open an inquest, and also they are going further because this is multi-agency. The Ministry of Works must also be involved in this particular case. So for now, this is just an interim response from what we are getting, but they are likely to do further investigation on both sides, on criminal culpability and also possible compensation to the victim. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Tongoyo, are you ready? Yes. I instructed you yesterday and directed you and Epuyo Nanok to do two things. One, to visit Honorable Koimburi in hospital, and two, to bring a statement and furnish information to the House on his disappearance and subsequent reappearance. Go ahead.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. And as you had properly said, the House recalled that yesterday in the afternoon session, you did instruct I and Honorable Nanok to visit Honorable Kaimbori so that we can able to furnish the House. And Honorable Speaker, we exactly did as you as you did direct. And we have got here a report, one from ourselves as a result of our visit, and I equally have a report from the IG on the status update report on the investigation, on ongoing investigation concerning the alleged abduction. And Honorable Speaker, I want to read a jointly signed report between myself and my colleague, Honorable Nanok, on the status report regarding the visit to the Karen Hospital to assess the condition of Honorable George Kibori. Following your ruling and the House resolution yesterday on the 27th, during the afternoon sitting, I and Honorable Daniel Nanok, the MP and the chairperson for Parliamentary Broadcasting Committee, undertook the visit to the hospital on behalf of the House. We arrived in the medical facility at approximately 5:30, and upon arrival, we identified ourselves and stated the purpose of our visit, which was to check on the health and the well-being of our colleague, Honorable George Kaimbori, as well as to convey the goodwill message of the House and yourself, and to gather any other relevant information that might be useful to us as his colleagues in Parliament. We were asked to wait for a while, and we were kept waiting for about half an hour in the waiting bay, Honorable Speaker, after which we were informed that we could proceed to the third floor, Malindi Ward, where the Honorable Speaker, the Honorable Member, is reportedly admitted. But it's good to note, Honorable Speaker, we had to keep reminding them that we were still waiting. At the ward, that is, it has got a little bit also a waiting area, we encountered 6 individuals who introduced themselves as family members and part of his office staff. Additionally, there were 2 security, security guards stationed at the doorstep, who informed us that it was not possible for us to see the Honorable Member at the moment. Honorable Speaker, we had to continuously remind him, whoever we are getting there, who we are, introducing ourselves, and keep reminding them the purpose of our visit, of which they actually confirmed that they were already aware of our intended visit following your communication. We explained that our visit was in accordance with a directive from the House Speaker, and it was purely for the well-being and the effort of our colleagues, but our request was still declined. Undeterred, we requested to speak to the doctor in charge, hoping to at least obtain a medical update. Unfortunately, this effort did not bear fruit either, as we were told the doctor was unavailable at the time. We were then introduced to a senior nurse who was on duty and managing the patient care in the ward. The nurse politely informed us that it will not be possible to see Honorable Member during our visit due to a medical advice and privacy consideration. And in fact, we were told that he was undergoing a procedure. The senior nurse did, however, assure us that the Honorable Member was in stable condition and was receiving the necessary medical care, while we were not able to see him physically. And he was, but he said that he was in stable condition. Honorable Speaker, because that is all, and we had no option other than to leave the place, we actually had to kind of, until even my colleague was like telling me we cannot push ourselves more further. is like the people who are there, Honorable Speaker, were actually kind of looking at us with a lot of suspicion, as if we were there for other reasons. And we, despite that, we keep assuring them that we just wanted to get the update of his well-being. So in regards to our visit, Honorable Speaker, that is all we had to say. So in summary, we were declined the entry. And it's good to note, Honorable Speaker, we were not the only one. I think there were other members also who were declined. But it's also good to note that a few hours before our visit, we saw a media briefing from some other political class who was allowed the entrance, and actually issued a press brief. So I don't know why it is always a coincidence when members probably from our side try to visit, they are always denied. Honorable Speaker, on the part of the IG, the National Police Service, I've got two sets of statements here with me. One which was written yesterday, and the other one was written today. And for the purposes of record, I want to start with the one on the 27th, which gave a chronology of event since the alleged abduction of our colleague. Honorable Speaker, the National Police Service wishes to provide a comprehensive update on the ongoing investigation into the alleged abduction of George Ngaibori, Member of Parliament for Juja constituency. On Monday, 26 May, the attention of the National Police Service was drawn to an amateur video circulating on social media, mainstream media, purportedly showing the Member of Parliament abandoned at a farm in Juja. Police officers from Juja swiftly responded, visiting the alleged scene and thoroughly documenting the area. Upon comparing its vegetation and road dimensions at the scene, which those in the video, it was established, Honorable Speaker, that the two did not match. During the questioning, Moses Karaoke, the caretaker of the coffee farm, which is owned by Jimmy Wanjigi, stated that he had not witnessed such an incident. The officers then proceeded to the Plainview Hospital in Ruiru, where the Member of Parliament had reportedly been taken for treatment. They confirmed that the vehicle used to transport him, registration number KCJ 660P, belonged to Honorable George Ngaibori, and was driven by Frida Njeri, who was also the first responder at the alleged crime scene. The hospital did not disclose the nature of the treatment or first aid administered, making it difficult to assess the extent of the alleged injury. Meanwhile, specialized team from DCI headquarters, supported by the forensic expert from the National Forensic Laboratory, were promptly deployed to the scene to conduct a thorough examination, gather critical evidence, and establish the circumstances surrounding the alleged abduction. So far, Honorable Speaker, that is as per yesterday, the investigation team had interviewed and recorded statements from 5 individuals, and which were expected to provide the account. This progress underscores the National Police Service commitment to uncover the truth regarding the abduction allegation with the highest standard of professionalism and diligence. We will continue to pursue all leads, analyze forensic evidence, and ensure that any perpetrators are brought to justice. Additionally, Honorable Speaker, it is important to note that Honorable George Ngaibori has been under investigation for a land fraud case, and the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution had already issued consent for his prosecution. Additionally, it is important to note that Honorable George Ngaibori has been under investigation, I think that one had already read. On Friday, 23rd May 2025, the MP, fully aware of the police intention to arrest him, evaded arrest by escaping on a motorbike with his private security and swiftly off his mobile and switched off his mobile phone. His car, occupied only by his driver, who was intercepted, and the driver was arrested but later released after recording a statement. The MP only resurfaced yesterday, coinciding with the abduction claim. In conclusion, we once again urge anyone with information regarding the incident depicted in the video to report to the nearest police station or contact us via a provided toll-free number 999-911-112 or the Fichua kwa DCI. In conclusion, Honorable Speaker, the IG state, we assure all Kenyans that we are committed to conducting this investigation with the utmost diligence to uncover the truth behind the allegation. Further update will be provided as investigation progresses. Lastly, Honorable Speaker, today at around 11 a.m., the IG issued again a presser to give the status update report, and the copy of the same here is with me, and I won't read it to the House. That is today on the 28th. Further to the press briefing issued yesterday, the National Police Service would like to inform the public of the progress made in the ongoing investigation into the alleged abduction of George Ngaibori, Member of Parliament for Juja. 3 additional individuals, Peter Kiratu, Juja CDF Chairman, Cyrus Kieru Muhia, and Karanja Gatana were arrested and provided statements which have offered crucial leads and further insight into the alleged abduction. Peter Kiratu, the Juja CDF chairman, stated that on the 25th May, that is this year, he attended a church service at a full gospel church, Mugudha, with the MP, as they were leaving a silver Subaru Forester registration KBP 096W, approached the main entrance, and the 2 heavily built men bundled the MP into the vehicle. He reported the incident at Mugudha police station. Additionally, on the 26th May, he received a call from the MP's daughter, Wanjiru, informing him that the MP had been found in a coffee farm in Juja. They then took the MP to Plainview Hospital, Ruiru, for the first aid before he was referred to Karen Hospital for further treatment. Cyrus Kiaru Muhia, an ally of the Honorable Ngaibori, who runs a supermarket at Kahawa West area, stated that on the 25th May, he received a call from the Peter Kiratu, the CDF chair, requesting the use of his Subaru. Speaker, I think this is a very important statement. Requesting to use of his Subaru Forester registration number KDG 803B to transport the additional security personnel for the MP during an event at the Full Gospel Church. On the 25th, again, Honorable Speaker, Kraitu instructed him to go to his homestead in Mugudha, where he met a man named Gatana, driving Kraitu's vehicle registration number KBP 096W. That is the car I earlier said. Honda CRV, along with 3 unknown men. They proceeded to the church to familiarize themselves with the route before returning. Later, Kiratu called and instructed him to drive his Subaru Forester with 2 men toward the church. Upon arrival, the 2 men exited quickly, and he heard screams as the MP was forced into the vehicle. They drove toward Jacaranda Coffee Research via Kabogo Road, where the MP instructed them to stop near a waiting Honda CRV, registration number KBP 096W, belonging to Kiratu. Cyrus was left with the 2 men, who warned him not to disclose any information to the police. The police have managed to recover 2 vehicles. The Honda CRV registration number KBP 096, belonging to Peter Kiratu, and the Subaru Forester Silver in color, registration number KDG 803B, belonging to Cyrus Kiairu Muhia. Additionally, 1 suspect, Karanja Gatana, has been arrested. Gatana admitted to dropping the MP at a hotel where he had refreshments and spent the night with the 2 abductors on the 25th May 2025 following the alleged abduction. You want me to repeat that? Honorable Speaker, public demand. The police have managed to thank you, Honorable Speaker, well guided. Honorable Speaker, the police have managed to recover the 2 vehicles. I'd earlier said this, belonging to Sarah Sky Tumuya. Additionally, 1 suspect, Karanja Katana, has been arrested. Katana admitted to dropping the MP at a hotel where he had the refreshment and spent the night with the 2 abductors on the 25th May 2025 following the alleged abduction. He added that on the 26th May 2025, while using Kraitu's vehicle, he had picked up the MP from the hotel and took him to the scene where they claimed he had been dumped. Before the MP exited the vehicle, he helped him tear his clothes to fake evidence of torture by the alleged abductors. The National Police Service further appeals for the public's continued support and encourages anyone with information that may assist the investigation to report it to the nearest police station or through our toll-free number 999-911-112 or the Fichua DCI 0800722303. We assure the public of our steadfast commitment to resolving this case, and we will provide further update as the investigation progresses. The letter and the statement signed by Douglas Kanja Karonche, MGH, CBS, OGW, the Inspector General of the National Police Service, on the 28th, 2025. Honorable Speaker, I think I don't have actually much to add on this. That is the statement. It's not my own words. That is the words from the IG, the authority mandated by our constitution and our laws to investigate such matters. And they are competent enough. And they have the requisite knowledge and experience. So, and I'd also given along with the statement our own findings as a House, on behalf of the House, in regards our visit, Honorable Speaker. I submit.
Thank you. Before I allow 1 or 2 clarifications on that, allow me to acknowledge the following schools in the public gallery. Soke Primary School from Baringo, South Baringo. Ndaragwa High School from Ndaragwa, Nyandarua. Kugururu High School from Igamba Ngombe, Tharakanithi. Oiti Glory Primary School from Kajiado Central, Kajiado. I've been requested by Honorable Kanjori Memusi to welcome a school from his Kajiado Central. Do so on behalf of your colleagues from whose constituencies the other schools come from.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Let me take this opportunity to welcome all our learners to this House. And Honorable Speaker, Oiti Glory is a school in a small village in Kajiado Central called Oiti. And I want to encourage all the learners here and tell them that most of these members have come from such places. So it is not impossible for one of you to be here one day. So let this journey today be a beginning of your dreams. I welcome all of you. Karibuni Bunge.
Yes, Junet. You've heard what Tongoyo has said about your colleague. Do we leave it there?
Yeah. Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Junet.
Mr. Speaker, first I want to take this opportunity to thank you as the chairman of the Parliamentary Service Commission and as the Speaker of the National Assembly for taking swift action so that we could know what happened to our colleague, Honorable Kwimburi. And you appointed Honorable Tongoyo, the Chairman of the Security Committee, and Honorable Epuyo, to go and see and visit our colleague who purportedly was abducted, Mr. Speaker. And to my shock, the report that has been tabled today in Parliament, Mr. Speaker, is what I can only term as the biggest political scandal in our country, Mr. Speaker. It's the biggest political scandal, Mr. Speaker, in our country. Why do I say so, Mr. Speaker? First, Mr. Speaker, me, when I saw the first photo that was being, beamed on one of the media houses that is nowadays prone to fake news, from the way my colleague was sleeping, I could knew this is a fake thing. From the appearance, from the way I saw the shirt and the way the stomach was looking up, I just knew this one, there is nothing. But I was waiting for a proper investigative report to be tabled before the House. So I had to reserve my comments. Mr. Speaker, it's very, very unfortunate that politicians can go to this extent to prove a point, Mr. Speaker. And you know, it is shocking that even the chairman of the Security Committee and our colleagues were never allowed to see our colleague who is in hospital. The only people who can see him is the Munyoro group, who can do a press conference outside the hospital. Any other person is not allowed to see him. No, you see, all that group is Munyoro group. Mr. Speaker, even people who are in ICU, people who are in critical care, Mr. Speaker, are allowed, people are allowed to see them, Mr. Speaker. This is the first case I've ever seen somebody who is not even, we don't know whether he's critically ill or not, nobody can see him. Only Wamunyoro group, Mr. Speaker. And they're the only ones who can speak to the public that we have visited our friend, he was inhaling some gas or something like that. Mr. Speaker, the director of this drama, now I've come to conclusion that the director of this drama is none other than one Mr. Wamunyoro. This is the same thing he did when he was running away from interrogation at the Senate. You remember? During the impeachment. He went and admitted himself in the same hospital, Mr. Speaker. So it's the same script. It is the same. But this country is full of drama.
You've made your point.
Mr. Speaker, let me conclude. Let me conclude, Mr. Speaker. The same disease, the same hospital, the same bed, the same visitors, the same doctor, nobody else can see you. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank the police service of this country, the Inspector General of Police, and the DCI Director for the swift investigation that they have done this matter. Because, Mr. Speaker, if this thing was not investigated thoroughly, these self-abductions will have gone up. Today it will have been Kwimburi. Tomorrow I can tell you, there's a candidate who's watching me here, Mr. Speaker. He will have hidden himself in these mokoka trees. somewhere, I know, I don't want to mention names. He will have hidden himself behind a mokoka tree. And he will have told you, I've been abducted. So, Mr. Speaker, I am very, very happy today that this thing has come to light. But I want to urge the former impeached former deputy governor, the deputy president, please don't go this direction. This kind of politics of deceit and conmanship and this kind of tactics of self-abduction and somebody shooting his car, claiming that I am under attack, those are all the way of doing politics. If you want to know how to do opposition politics, you know where you can find good advice. Go and see Baba. Sit down with him. Tell him, Baba, how did you sustain this opposition politics for the last 40 years? What tactics did you use? I've never seen you self-abducting yourself. I've never seen you shooting your car anywhere. What tactics could you have used? Come there. We will teach you how to go about it. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Majority Leader.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, allow me to also begin by first, in one of these very rare occasions, to congratulate the Inspector General of Police, the Director of DCI, and all the officers within our police service for the good work that they have exhibited, not just in this case, but also in cracking the unfortunate murder of the late Were. And I think, Honorable Speaker, we have not taken time to congratulate them also because of the swiftness with which they were able to apprehend the culprits or the criminals who murdered the late Were. And I want to believe that they are still working to ensure that they get even the sponsors of the people who pulled the trigger on the late Were. But, Honorable Speaker, this matter is not as light as we may be taking it, because a matter that flies right into the face of this Constitution, Honorable Speaker. Chapter 6 of the Integrity of the Leadership and Integrity Act. Honorable Speaker, if you allow me, Article 7 is that responsibilities of leadership, authority assigned to a state officer, is a public trust to be exercised in a manner that, 3, brings honor to the nation and dignity to the office and promotes public confidence in the integrity of the office. We are not discussing one of us because we need a motion to be before the House to discuss any one of us. But it is the dignity of the office of a member of parliament that is in question today, Honorable Speaker. If a member of parliament who has been elected by his people to come and represent them in this House can dare engage in the kind of criminality that we have seen the Honorable Koimburi engage in, Honorable Speaker, this should be one of the saddest days for this House, Honorable Speaker. This is the same member, Honorable Speaker, who last year claimed that members of parliament were being paid 2 million shillings to vote on the finance bill. You will remember, all of you, that the Honorable Koimburi appeared before this House, apologized, and in our magnanimity, we accepted his apology and let that go. Honorable Speaker, as a House, we must not let this pass. We must not let it pass. When we forgave Honorable Koimburi and let it go, the impeachment of this drama director, I don't know whether he's a script writer or the drama director. Malala might be the script writer, the director is a former deputy president, and the actor now is Koimburi. Just like during the impeachment process, as the Honorable Junet says, the former deputy president appeared here looking very dark. But because he knew there was no cross-examination in the National Assembly during the impeachment process, he had the audacity and the guts to come and try defend himself here. But he did not have the courage to face the House where he would be cross-examined. He faked sickness, ended up being admitted in Karen Hospital, apparently in the same room, same bed. I am not certain, and I want to speak to my good friend, Dr. Gekonyo, a man of very high integrity and a good doctor in this country, and plead with him not to allow his hospital to be misused by these people who are otherwise common street criminals, Honorable Speaker, I dare say. The Honorable Koimburi was saying, Honorable Speaker, again went to the media and said that members of parliament were being paid, I think, 500,000 or something like that, 5 million shillings, to impeach a deputy president who deserved nothing more than what he got. In fact, we should have impeached Rigathi Gachagua probably a year before. And Kenyans now will vindicate this House that Kenyans were being saved from greater trouble from this man, Honorable Speaker, and the drama that we are seeing. It's unfortunate, Honorable Speaker, that this circus has pulled into it other dignified leaders like your good friend, the former Vice President Kalonzo Musyoka, who I saw yesterday at Karen Hospital, together with our former Speaker, J.B. Muturi, saying that there are people who claim there was a self-abduction. Now it is clear that Honorable Koimburi self-abducted himself, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I appeared on a show on Al Jazeera TV last month but one, on the 4th of February or the 5th of February. And I was put to task on the question of abductions in this country. Because you remember the president committing that he will end abductions. And many people never understood. And people would ask, who is abducting people? And I remember Honorable Speaker saying, there was information that had been shared that there were even members of parliament who planned to kidnap or abduct themselves and blame the state. Honorable Speaker, time is a healer, and time is also a vindicator. I think many things are being vindicated over time. That when the police said we were not abducting people, there were other forces. Now Kenyans need to start filling in the gaps. When last year, Honorable Speaker, and I said yesterday, when we were debating the adjournment motion by the Honorable Junet, when on the 25th of June, Kenyans rallied around the country on account of misinformation and disinformation around issues touching on the finance bill, Honorable Speaker, we said it to the nation that many of the things that were offensive to Kenyans had been removed from that bill. But nobody listened, Honorable Speaker, because of the negativity, the propaganda that was being pushed by this group, Honorable Speaker. I don't want to say, Wamunyoro is a very good village. And you know, Honorable Speaker, I have confessed that I have married a beautiful lady from Nyeri. And is one of the villages in Madera constituency represented by the Honorable Amombi. Therefore, let us not accuse that good village. This is a character of a person and a group around him that believes you can only advance opposition politics either using violence, deceit, bloodshed, and that is why you saw the things that were in the adjournment motion by Honorable Junet yesterday. The unfortunate reference to the 2007 post-election violence, Honorable Speaker. Because these are people who have no agenda for this country. And all they desire is chaos and anarchy for our country. Honorable Speaker, I want to plead with you, because you are the chair of our Powers and Privileges Committee. Irrespective of what the National Police Service and the Director of Prosecution or the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission do with the Honorable Koimburi, the Powers and Privileges Committee of this House must be seized of this matter of Honorable Koimburi. And I also want to speak to the people of Juja. They are a great people who have been denied proper representation in this House. And I don't want to discuss the member, Honorable Speaker, but the people of Juja are suffering, and I've been there, I know. Right now, I'm addressing issues, Honorable Speaker, in my office, touching on electricity connectivity in Juja, and the MP has the audacity to send them a message on their WhatsApp group telling them you can go ask for your electricity from Ruto. I left that government. Whether you are in a government or not, you are elected as a member of parliament to represent your people. When they question you, when they ask you for services, answer them in a dignified manner. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, I want to say the police have done their work. The Director of Prosecution, the DPP, must do his work. EACC, because of Chapter 6 of our Constitution, must do their work on the matter of ethics of public officers that the Honorable Koimburi has contravened. Our Powers and Privileges Committee, Honorable Speaker, which you chair, must now be seized of this matter and take the necessary action. The people of Juja must know you can also recall a member of parliament who is not working for you, who is not serving your interests, who is not representing you, a member of parliament who believes his only work is to follow another man in funerals and other social gatherings. singing songs of praise to a man, Honorable Speaker. With that, Honorable Speaker, I want to pray, Honorable Speaker, especially to you, as our chair of the Powers and Privileges Committee, please do something. Not because of Honorable Koimburi, but to save the dignity and the honor of the office of a member of parliament, Honorable Speaker. I submit.
Thank you. I don't want to open debate on this. Senior Counsel, I'll give you a minute.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let me first thank you for the wisdom of directing the inquiry through members of the relevant committee, and say that it is important. The concern to find out what happened is not born out of anything in the standing orders. But it was a concern for a colleague, because we must all be concerned when a colleague is in distress. And therefore, I find 4 very unique things about this matter. One, which is very positive on the part of the police, is the swiftness of the inquiry. I hope we can have such swiftness in all matters. 2 is the openness in terms of the update of what happened. I think that is also a very good thing, and they are to be commended. There are also 2 very unique things which are to be discouraged. The one is that while we call on the police to do investigation, then they are blocked from accessing our colleague, who is the only primary person who can give the most useful information. That is disabling the police. And then we might blame them. The second one, which I find unique, is something is developing where when one is admitted, then people come and give updates on their medical condition, people who are not medical practitioners, within the vicinity of the hospital. That usually does not happen in most hospitals. I think that's unique to this very able establishment. And it is not a good thing, because then you don't know if one is speaking authoritatively or not. But that said, Mr. Speaker, abduction is a very serious thing. Unlike my colleagues, I want to welcome the preliminary report by the police, but as they've stated, it's a preliminary report. It's not a conclusive report. I expect that there will be a conclusive report. Once it is concluded, Mr. Speaker, if indeed there were people who are involved in kidnapping our colleagues, they must be prosecuted. But if indeed there were people who are, who coined this up and it was not true, they too must be prosecuted. Because abductions in this country and killings have become so many, and we don't want to speculate as to whether one has done it themselves or not, by the police or by the crooks. But that said, Mr. Speaker, once it is concluded, unlike my colleagues, I believe the right thing to do is that the police must prosecute those who are involved. But I do not agree that it's within the ambit of this House. I do not believe that you can then bring matters that have happened outside the precincts of Parliament and then bring them within the Privileges Committee. I think that ultimately is between the employer and our employers are the voters and the police who ought to prosecute. That said, Mr. Speaker, I commend the wisdom, your wisdom in handling this matter, and I hope it comes to fruition and we get to the bottom. Let people be prosecuted so that it serves as an example either way. Thank you.
Yes, Mukunji, then Emily, then I close.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. And I also want to say thank you for your guidance in this House. Honorable Speaker, I first want to say that security matters in this country must be taken with the seriousness they deserve. As we are speaking right now, Honorable Speaker, I have demonstrations in Embu town because of matters of insecurity, shops being broken into, and those are matters that, Honorable Speaker, they touch in this House, and I believe that as the senior counsel has mentioned, we need conclusive reports on matters to do with our colleague. And not only that, Honorable Speaker, I believe there are so many pending matters that are touching with the confidence that people have with our police forces. Honorable Speaker, we are yet to get reports on what happened to many of the Gen Zs during the Maandamanos. We are yet to get a report, Honorable Speaker, on various issues of abductions that have been reported of even some young people in this country. And Honorable Speaker, I sit here and I believe this house should be seen as a house that allows investigations to go conclusively. And I believe your guidance is very clear, Honorable Speaker, that we have to get to the bottom of this. If Honorable Koimbori, and I believe I have not been able to visit him, but I have seen the press conferences that have happened there. I've seen the hand being pointed to even the police force. Honorable Speaker, I believe also it's important for IPOA, because this is a matter of extrajudicial matter, to actually come in. Because when it is said that Koimbori had an issue and police say they were looking for him, it also points some finger in the matter to do with whether it is the police that was conducting this. And now the IG has spoken. It is important also to get an independent body to give a report on this so that this house can be well guided when it comes to those matters. But today is the National Prayers Day. Honorable Speaker, I believe it is not fair and it is not right for my good friends, minority leader and majority leader, to incriminate the name of the former deputy president just like that. It is right for them to bring evidence and say that he was involved in this, and let's be fair and actually call it like it is. We are taking too much time to debate and talk about the former deputy president when we have very serious matters to discuss in this house. We have matters to do with our debt issues. We have matters to do with finance bill. We have mirror issue that is being now being brought by the deputy majority leader.
Mr. Speaker, I wanted to seek your guidance because, Mr. Speaker, I know Honorable Mukunji is a first-time member of Parliament. I know he's learning the ropes. Mr. Speaker, what we discussed yesterday, what we discussed yesterday is he's a first-time member of Parliament, unless he was in another parliament than this one, unless he was in South Sudan Parliament. The fact of the matter is he's a first-time member of Parliament. I'm a third-time member of Parliament. That's a fact on record. Yeah, and he has only served 2 years, like Rigathi Gachagua. Mr. Speaker, but my point of order is this. My point of order is this, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, yesterday what we discussed was a special motion under Standing Order 33. Mr. Speaker, the standing orders that we use here gives every member an opportunity to bring a motion to discuss any matter of national importance. And with the approval of the Speaker, and if you get the requisite number of 20 members to support your request, then you get an opportunity to move your motion. So we should not use up here the derogatory statement that we are wasting our time yesterday here discussing a matter of national importance like post-election violence. Someone who's calling people to take up arms, to kill themselves, displace people, cause destruction. You're calling it something useless, unless you support that kind of thing, that you want people to die.
Okay.
Shame on you.
Mukunji, wind up.
Honorable Speaker, I believe that it is very easy for the minority leader to bring the matters of me being a first member of Parliament. But they need to understand that I learn very quickly. And in my 2 years, I've studied this house. I know how it works, and I believe I represent the people of Manyata and Embu the best way I can. Honorable Speaker, as I conclude, I want to say that your guidance on the investigation of this matter touches on all our security. We have had complaints from various members on how their security is being handled. Honorable Speaker, we have lost a member of Parliament. We know how and what it takes, how costly it is, Honorable Speaker, to even go back to a by-election. let us all be very keen on our security. And Honorable Speaker, I seek your guidance to ensure IPOA also gives a report on this matter.
Millie,
thank you.
The last one.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to, before I start, I just want to tell Honorable Mukunji that
Order, Mukunji, you finish your contribution, listen to
yes,
others.
and you need to listen because I'm actually, before I say man, I just wanted to tell him that even though he's saying he's learned, one of the things that he has not yet learned effectively is how to be in opposition. When I have given my contribution, see me on the side. You are doing very poorly in that regard, and I'm very willing to give you free tutorials or being in the opposition. Mr. Speaker, as a human rights defender, I have been against the issue of abductions, and I've raised it before the floor of this House and elsewhere. And I'm very happy that I have seen actually almost disappearance of the issue of human abduction. Mr. Speaker, whether I'm in government or outside, broad-based, non-broad-based, human rights remain human rights. And I have raised it consistently. And Mr. Speaker, when our colleague was allegedly abducted, I condemned his abduction. Mr. Speaker, this comes shortly after our colleague was actually murdered. Just the day we were going on recess, our colleague was here. I turned my back, he was here. And then minutes later, I'm seeing a notice he's dead, gunned down. So the issue of security of members of parliament is a very serious issue. Mr. Speaker, I have myself been a victim of attack. I was attacked in my first time by men wielding guns, 7 men. And when I raised the issue, the Inspector General of the police then said that I concocted the story. But at that time, no investigation was done. The difference is this time, investigations have been done. I would be the last person to actually politicize about attack because I've been a direct victim. But Mr. Speaker, it is on that note that it would be very, very unfortunate that an honorable member would make me waste time sympathizing and standing with him if at all he has actually faked his own abduction. It would be very unfortunate after our own member of parliament has been shot dead that you bring theatrics that touch on our security. Today it may be drama, tomorrow it may be a reality. Yes. When you cry wolf, one day it will be a reality and there will be nobody to deal with you. So Mr. Speaker, what I would want to say, so that members are more secure. The police have given us preliminary report. Can the police conclude? And should it be found that this is actually false allegations, Mr. Speaker, he should be prosecuted as an example to others. Yes. This is not a joke. And not only that, Mr. Speaker, the issue of abduction has been a very serious issue in this country. And it is one of the reasons that we find our young people very annoyed because they keep saying we are being abducted. I would be shocked to discover that all along it is not the police that are abducting. I would be really, it is mind-boggling, Mr. Speaker. Even if we are politicking, our politics must reach a level that is human and that respects the human rights of yourself and of others, Mr. Speaker. Don't make us waste too much English when we know there are other countries where we can import the English, Mr. Speaker. I will not name them. But there are countries where we can import that English, Mr. Speaker. We can export the English elsewhere. No, I will not say where. Because I have many friends in neighboring countries, so I won't mention. And also we are trying to encourage friendly relations with our neighbors even when they are angry. But that aside, we are deepening relation with our neighbors even when they are angry. But Mr. Speaker, I would want to encourage that this matter be taken up seriously, not just as a matter of with the Committee of Privileges, but the Inspector General, if this is actually a lie, this member must be prosecuted. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Tongoyo. When do you bring the conclusive and final report?
Honorable Speaker,
I know the predicament you suffered.
Yeah, there are actually too
that you couldn't be able to see your colleague.
Yeah.
I personally can inform the House that I called the DCI and informed me that he was also denied the opportunity with his officers to see the member. So tell the IG to finalize and give us the conclusive investigations in the matter, then I'll give directions.
Well guided, Honorable Speaker, but it's good under the circumstances. I had talked to him actually just an hour ago, and there are still a lot of leads leading to more arrest and interrogation. So maybe we give us like another week or so.
Thank you. Next order. Before the next order, hold on, clerk. I acknowledge the presence in the speaker's gallery. I think they have gone. Olkalau Secondary School from Olkalau, Nyandarua. Even if they have left, we welcome them belatedly to the House of Parliament. Next order.
Order number 8, motion, discharge of the Public Transport Motorcycle Regulation Bill, Senate Bill number 38 of 2023. Question to be put.
Order, honorable members. Order member for Kajiado, take your seat. The two members from Kajiado are on their feet at different points. Honorable members, I'm putting the question at order number 8, and I hope you do understand what it is. There is a bill from the Senate by the Senator for Kakamega on the regulation and bringing order to the border sector. He seems to have walked into a hostile group of borders who frightened him to write a letter and say, although the bill has passed through the Senate, he wants to withdraw it in this House. So we now put the question, if you want the bill to go on, you vote no. If you want the bill to die here, you vote yes. I'll now put the question. I'm saying this because this is an unprecedented process that has come to this House. And I now put the question at order number 8, which is that notwithstanding the provisions of Standing Order 127.5, and taking into consideration the request from the Senate for withdrawal of the Public Transport Motorcycle Regulation Bill, Senate Bill number 38 of 2023, this House resolves to discharge the Public Transport Motorcycle Regulation Bill, Senate Bill number 38 of 2023 from second reading. As members of that opinion say aye. As members of the contrary opinion say nay. Nay. The nays have it. So the bill will now proceed to second reading at an appropriate time. Next order.
Order number 9, motion, third report on consideration of the audited accounts of specified state corporations. Resumption of debate.
Honorable Wangwe, when we adjourned yesterday, you had 38 minutes to go. 37 minutes to go.
Yes.
So you can carry on from there.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, as I had moved yesterday on the report of the third report on consideration of the audited accounts of Public Investments Committee, that this House adopts the third report of the Public Investments Committee on Social Services, Administration and Agriculture on its consideration of the report of the Auditor General on the financial statements of the following state corporations, laid on the table of the House on 30th July 2024. Honorable Speaker, the various state corporations, as I moved yesterday, were Kenyatta National Hospital, Kenya Medical Supplies Authority, Kenya Veterinary Board, National Authority for Campaigns Against Drug Abuse, and lastly, Honorable Speaker, Kenya Broadcasting Corporation. I had moved, Honorable Speaker, general issues cutting across, and I had also moved, Honorable Speaker, various specific issues and I was now handling the issues on Kenya Medical Supplies Agency, KEMSA. Honorable Speaker, on the issues that were highlighted in the report, the issue that I was to start with today is the issue to do with payables and trade and other payables, Honorable Speaker, where, Honorable Speaker, I want to be specific. And look, we observed one supplier, Honorable Speaker, Mrs. Med Africa Limited, who was awarded a contract to install, supply and commission a diesel-fired incinerator in Busia, Kitale and Wajir County referral hospitals, Honorable Speaker. The main issue, Honorable Speaker, on this issue, that we observed, is that to date, the equipment that you were supposed to supply in both the Busia and Wajir counties are yet to be supplied to date, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, and on that issue, Madam Speaker, we did make a recommendation on what recourse is supposed to be done in the event on such a case, Honorable Speaker, and we looked at one of the issues as being that upon our adoption of this report, Honorable Speaker, the accounting officer for Kenya Medical Supplies Authority and the PS in charge of medical services, Honorable Speaker, and the county government of Wajir should ensure that the incinerator is installed. Since, Honorable Speaker, the incinerator was paid for, but was never installed, and to date it is not yet installed. Honorable Speaker, we also say that within 3 months upon adoption of this report, the Auditor General should audit the payables in question and give a comprehensive report on their status of the National Assembly. Honorable Speaker, there were about 4 or 5 issues, as you will see in the report, that were discussed. All of them supplied by various parties, which have been highlighted in the report, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, specific issues on the case of Kenya Veterinary Board is that, Honorable Speaker, the Kenya Veterinary Board, Honorable Speaker, had challenges in terms of budgetary allocation, and for the specific years, the budgeting of Kenya Veterinary Board was in a way over budget, under budget, but over expend. Such that, Honorable Speaker, you find that in this one particular year, they budgeted for 142 and spent, they budgeted for 134 and spent 142 million. So the question comes, Honorable Speaker, where do they get the balance? The finding of the committee is, Honorable Speaker, whereas they under-declare their A in A, so that what they get, they spend before budgeting is done. Meaning, Honorable Speaker, this organization has some income somewhere which is not surrendered to the National Treasury. Once you declare the budget, they now draw that money on their own. The question is, what is the function of this house? We are supposed to budget. What is the function of National Treasury? Is to collect money and get in the consolidated fund. How come this organization is spending money which has not been budgeted for? Therefore, Honorable Speaker, we found it that that's an irregularity, and therefore we recommended that the accounting officer should ensure that at all times the budgets are realistic, achievable, and always adhere to the annual work plans, procurement plans, and revenue collection schedules. Honorable Speaker, if that is done, and in contrary to that, the relevant laws should apply and the officer must be punished. Honorable Speaker, there is also in the Kenya Veterinary Board lack of an effective internal controls. And Honorable Speaker, what happens in every organization is the use, and by law, every organization must have an internal audit unit. And also, Madam Speaker, an organization must have a documented risk management policy. This organization, Honorable Speaker, at the time of audit, did not have a fully fledged working internal audit unit, and neither did it have, Honorable Speaker, a working documented risk management policy. And therefore, in that regard, Honorable Speaker, my committee recommends that the accounting officer, Honorable Speaker, having been found in breach of Regulation 165(1)A(b) of the Public Finance Management National Government Regulations of 2015, the accounting officer should therefore ensure that all times the internal audit unit and an approved internal audit charter detailing the scope, responsibility, and purpose of the internal audit unit are in place in order to promote transparency and accountability. And Honorable Speaker, within 3 months upon adoption of the report, the Board of Kenya Veterinary Board should submit to the National Assembly and OAG the committee membership, the audit committee minutes, and the internal audit reports considered by the audit committee meaning, Honorable Speaker, we recommended that they must establish an internal audit unit. Honorable Speaker, there was also the issue that we found out on the failure to fully constitute board of directors. Honorable Speaker, this issue is not only, when you look at the cross-cutting issues was there, but now in specific, Kenya Veterinary Board is one of the organizations that fell short of having the necessary board members. And Honorable Speaker, whereas the Kenya Veterinary Board did not have the board members, it went ahead and paid the existing few board members board allowances. Honorable Speaker, that's an illegality, because at the time of expending, they did not have a fully fledged board. How were they meeting this? Who was approving this expenditure? Therefore, Honorable Speaker, we found out that that being the case, we reprimand the appointing authority for the delay in the constituting of or failure to adhere to the provisions of Section 4(1), paragraph F and G of the Veterinary Surgeons and Veterinary Paraprofessionals Act of 2011, which provides that the board shall consist of the following members: 4 surgeons registered and veterinary paraprofessionals appointed by the Cabinet Secretary after being elected by registered veterinary professionals. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, that reprimand goes to the appointing authority, who in this case is the CS, who also oversaw his state agency run without the necessary board members. Honorable Speaker, National Authority for the Campaigns Against Drug, Alcohol and Drug Abuse had various issues, Honorable Speaker. But the only good thing with this organization, Honorable Speaker, although it had issues, but it had an unqualified opinion whose recommendations cut across the 3 years that we reviewed. It's a fairly clean organization, but only lacked a few issues to do with governance and issues to do with governance and issues to do with a review of the existing board members. But, Honorable Speaker, upon transition, which was slightly within 2 months, the organization, within the 3 years of review, had a clean and qualified report. Honorable Speaker, on the final institution I want to talk about is the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation. KBC, Honorable Speaker, is our mother broadcasting house. It's an organization where, Honorable Speaker, almost all media personalities have gone through. Nearly 90% of the media personalities have appeared through Kenya Broadcasting Corporation, nurturing and molding very good personalities. But unfortunately, Honorable Speaker, when they exist in KBC, they do not appear to be the best. Once they leave, they now turn around and become the best. A situation which, Honorable Speaker, we found out the issues that are happening in KBC, Honorable Speaker. One issue that we found out that cuts across the 10 years of review is the issue, Honorable Speaker, to do with the liabilities in KBC, where, Honorable Speaker, KBC borrowed some money heavily way back in 2011, Honorable Speaker, and in 1989, not 2011, 1989, Honorable Speaker, which was a loan from the Overseas Economic Cooperation Fund in Japan. And, Honorable Speaker, this fund, this money was a huge amount, 7,543,422,121. Honorable Speaker, this money, it's always moved. And when you see it has already been cleared by the National Treasury, Honorable Speaker, but unfortunately, National Treasury has not adjusted the books of Kenya Broadcasting Corporation. Instead, it has left the load on KBC. Honorable Speaker, what does it mean? What it means is, Honorable Speaker, that whenever KBC is preparing their books, this loan reflects in their books, and definitely when you look at the management accounts of KBC, within the year, it looks positive, but when you look at the overall annual account, Honorable Speaker, it's heavily loaded by this amount. The implication, Honorable Speaker, is that you can never know the trading status of KBC, and it's not a good thing. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, what do we recommend? Upon adoption of this report, KBC should submit the National Treasury and the Auditor General comprehensive report with the details of the loan, and, Honorable Speaker, National Treasury should also be able to comment on the status of the loan and advise on when they intend to write off the loan if need be. Honorable Speaker, on the issue of KBC, it has issues to do with title deeds. Honorable Speaker, the issue of KBC, the corporation had title deeds for 8 parcels of land. And Honorable Speaker, these 8 parcels of land, at the same time, it had 32 parcels which does not have title deeds or other legal documents of ownership. The title deeds, Honorable Speaker, for land roll number 209/5918, this is the broadcasting house, Honorable Speaker, it still exists in the name of the old person. Yourself being a lawyer, Honorable Speaker, you'll agree with me that the title called Chief Secretary, Colony and Protectorate of Kenya is a colonial reference to our titles, which was there before independence, and it's important, Honorable Speaker, that KBC gets its title. As it is now, Honorable Speaker, it doesn't have in the modern way. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, valuing that property is not possible, and when you look, ask the management was not able to value, because, Honorable Speaker, they say this title is obsolete. So whoever is to handle it, I don't know. But now, to them, they contracted a law firm who is yet to also give them a new title. That makes the whole issue messy and unacceptable to the committee, and that's why, Honorable Speaker, we recommended that the accounting officer KBC should submit to the National Treasury and the Auditor General the updated fixed asset register detailing all the assets of the company with the respective details and that need to be disclosed in the asset register. Honorable Speaker, why do we need this? Because when this title has not been valued, it means it's not posted into the accounts because they have no value. And unless they keep the register of fixed assets, it means no one can know how to trace that property and where it is. Honorable Speaker, there is also the issue that interagency trading, where, Honorable Speaker, the ministry could direct KBC to give part of its assets to a sister agency. For this case, Honorable Speaker, in particular, the power generators that were given to KenGen company, Honorable Speaker. The corporation, at the direction of the government, loaned its 5 power generators valued at 29 million to KenGen to alleviate the power crisis during the 2000-2001 crisis. However, the generators have not been returned to the corporation. Honorable Speaker, the moment they gave out the assets on direction of the government, somebody retains the assets of KBC forever, and nobody follows up. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, we felt that it was important that within 3 months upon adoption, ESCC to initiate an investigation into how the loaned generators to KenGen were procured, whether there were any malpractice in the initial procurement, and that generators were idle at the time of loaning, and submit its findings to DPP. Honorable Speaker, because they say the generators were given, but there is no follow-up evidence to confirm that those generators were given, neither were they instruction. But the management said they were instructed to give. So whether the generators passed on to KenGen or not, we do not know. Honorable Speaker, there is the issue in KBC affecting the going concern aspect. The Honorable Speaker, the issue of KBC as a going concern is associated with various organizations, Honorable Speaker, through which it entered into negotiations, and particularly the organizations that deal with broadcasting. And Honorable Speaker, apart from the OEC loan, that is the Overseas Economic Cooperation Fund loan of 1989, KBC has other organizations which it has entered into negotiation with, including the MultiChoice Africa and various other organizations. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, this entry into these negotiations has affected the operation to an extent positively, and to other extent it has negatively affected. What has the committee recommended, therefore, Honorable Speaker, that upon adoption of this report, the KBC should submit to the National Treasury and to the Auditor General a comprehensive report with the details of all the organizations, all the documentary organizations that have entered into commercial transactions with KBC for the purpose of going concern effects. Honorable Speaker, finally, the issue of KBC
is a good model. It's a good model to adopt. But, Honorable Speaker, it has left the organization in limbo without knowing whether to transact on its own or to transact through the second, the contracted agencies which they are working with. And therefore, it's a model which, Honorable Speaker, to one side, it is giving a positive return, and to the other side, Honorable Speaker, if not monitored well, it can lead into the extinction of the organization. Therefore, with that, Honorable Speaker, I wish to thank my colleagues whom we have sat tirelessly, whom we have held these sessions together. I want to thank the Secretariat, Honorable Speaker, for taking their time to make all this, combine this report. I want to thank the Clerk of the National Assembly, Honorable Speaker, for the effective support through the departmental committee, through the committee, through the director of committees who has supported the committee to arrive at this report. And I want to thank also the leadership of the House for giving the opportunity and agriculture through myself to submit this report to the House. I want to thank you, Madam Speaker, and request my colleague, the member for Mandera, Woman Rep, Mheshimiwa Honorable Umurker Kasim, to second.
Hold on a moment before you second. Allow me to recognize the presence of a school which is sitting in the public gallery before they leave. So I wish to recognize the presence of Pioneer Girls School from Gatanga constituency in Murang'a County. And I think a member for Mandera, before you do your secondment, you can welcome them on behalf of the House. Okay, you may welcome them then.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Allow me the liberty to welcome that school from Gatanga constituency on behalf of their Member of Parliament, who I hear has gone to Amonyoro and is not available. Therefore, on his behalf and on behalf of the House, welcome to the National Assembly, and to tell these children, the students from Pioneer, that many of them, and I do pray that indeed all of them, when they grow up, they will find their way into this House or the other House in Senate and in other positions of leadership, and pray that they will serve with the integrity that behoves of them as leaders of tomorrow. And they are leaders today and tomorrow. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Welcome. You may proceed, Honorable.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I would like to second of the audited accounts of the state corporations, which are Kenyatta National Hospital, Kenya Medical Supplies Authority, Kenya Veterinary Board, National Authority for the Campaign Against Drugs and Drug Abuse, and Kenya Broadcasting Corporation. Madam Speaker, I just want to speak about 5 cross-cutting issues that while we were deliberating on the report that we found out. One is on land. Madam Speaker, we found out that the land these state corporations sit on have no title deeds, and they have active court cases, despite the House in the last terms discussing about it. The tussles are between private developers and others are on encroachment. The other cross-cutting issue is on delay in availing documents to the Auditor General. The entities or state corporations delay in submitting to the AG, contrary to the requirements of PFM Act, which is within 3 months. The other cross-cutting issue is on delay in accountability of interest, contrary to the requirements of PFM Act that requires 7 days, as my chair well put it. Then the fourth cross-cutting issue is on delay in appointment of board directors. This contributes to poor decision-making, poor governance, and lack of policy guidance in the organization. Honorable Speaker, we found out that there's laxity in most of these issues. These were things that they could solve easily, but decided to carry it on from one CEO to the other. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. And I second.
Honorable members, allow me to propose the question that the House adopts the third report of the Public Investments Committee on Social Services, Administration and Agriculture on its consideration of the report of the Auditor General on financial statements of the following state corporations laid on the table of this House on Tuesday, 30th July 2024. 1. Kenyatta National Hospital for the financial year 2018-2019 and the financial year 2019-2020. 2. The Kenya Medical Supplies Authority for the financial year 2017-2018 and the financial year 2018-2019. 3. The Kenya Veterinary Board for the financial year 2018-2019 and the financial year 2019-2022 and the financial year 2020-2021. 4. The National Authority for the Campaign Against Alcohol and Drug Abuse for the financial year 2017-2018, financial year 2018-2019, financial year 2019-2020, and financial year 2020-2021. And 5, for the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation for the financial years 2000-2001, 2001-2002, financial year 2002-2003, financial year 2003-2004, financial year 2004-2005, financial year 2005-2006, financial year 2006-2007, financial year 2007-2008, and financial year 2008-2009, financial year 2009 and 2010, financial year 2010 and 2011, financial year 2011 and 2012, and finally financial year 2012 and 2013. Members who want to contribute, yes, Majority Leader, and then those who want to contribute, please press the intervention button.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. First, allow me to congratulate the Chair and members of the Public Investments Committee on Social Services, Administration and Agriculture for their very diligent work. Honorable Speaker, if you members notice, some of these accounts run like those of the National Authority for NACADA, National Authority for the Campaign Against Alcohol and Drug Abuse, run from the year 2017-2018 all the way to 2021. And many of the accounts that you've seen even for KBC running back to the year 2000, 2001, up to the year 2012-2013. Honorable Speaker, I was saying that because it is important that our oversight committees work to ensure that all the public sector accounts are up to date, all the audited accounts, because the Auditor General is very diligent in ensuring that she audits all parastatals and government accounts by the next year, mid next year, or the year following the year she's auditing. By mid-year, she has audited all of them. And therefore, it behoves on us as a House, through our committees, the oversight committees, whether it is a Public Accounts Committee or the 3 PIC committees, to ensure that they review these audited accounts and make reports in good time. And that's why I am taking liberty to congratulate the Public Investments Committee on Social Services, Administration and Agriculture, and of course, without anticipating debate, also on the PIC in charge of governance and education, because I see they also have reports to be considered in the order following order number 9. Honorable Speaker, to note also some of these parastatals that they have reviewed their accounts. Kenyatta National Hospital, Honorable Speaker, as much as they are up to 2020, there are pertinent issues that I had the chair speak to yesterday which need to be addressed. And more importantly, Honorable Speaker, across the entire report, if you go through that report, you'll see the issue of undeclared or unaccounted for interests. Honorable Speaker, interest is not free money to be given to public officers. And indeed, every government agency should follow the example of Parliament. Because members of Parliament also get interest. For instance, when you get per diem when you're traveling, But if you do not account for it, it will either be recovered from your salary the following month, or the next time you are due to get interest, you will not get. And that is why in our audited accounts as Parliament, you will never find unaccounted for interest, be it from members or members of staff, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, I want to ask all these public investments committees, whether it is that on social services, administration and agriculture, on that of governance, or even the one on commercial services, Honorable Speaker, to ensure that they move towards a system where interest is accounted for promptly, as the chair was pushing yesterday in his moving, because I keenly listened to Chair Wangwe, and issues that touched on all these parastatals, whether it is Kenyatta National Hospital, the KEMSA, or the Veterinary Board, or indeed even this NACADA, they all have an overriding issue of unaccounted for interest. And therefore, it must be clear to every public officer that when you get interest, this is money you get to be able to carry on your official work. Once you are done, you should be able to account for that money. If you don't account for it, then you should be surcharged. And I want to agree with what the committee has recommended. Because ultimately the person in charge, or where the buck stops, is the office of the accounting officer. And in this case, the principal secretaries in those particular ministries. If they do not enforce the holders of the authority to incur expenditure in the parastatals to ensure that they recover this interest, then they should be surcharged to pay. Because it's part of their accountability that they have been charged with as accounting officers. Honorable Speaker, allow me to speak about KEMSA. And Chair Wangwe clearly stipulated that they have covered or reviewed the accounts from the financial year 2017, 2018, and 2018 to 2019, the financial year 2018-2019. But Honorable Speaker, the year we are waiting for, and this is why I'm saying we must push our accounts, our accounting committees, to review all these accounts on a timely manner and report to the House so that action is taken at the right time. We have been waiting to know who are the COVID billionaires. But now you have reviewed the accounts up to the year 2018-2019, pre-COVID. I would allow the chair to inform me.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. You know, he's my leader, and when he speaks, you seek that he allows you to inform him that actually the work is done. Yes. That work you are asking for is done. Only the channel to bring here is awaited. So in the next few weeks, you'll have it with you. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Very good. Very good. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. It is good that I elicited that information to know that the Public Investments Committee, and you see, Honorable Speaker, I was not congratulating them in vain. If they have now gotten to the year 2020-21, for us to be able to know, and I would implore Honorable Wangwe to finalize with the report and bring it to the House Business Committee, and we shall prioritize it for consideration so that we get to know who are these COVID billionaires. People who took advantage of a very unfortunate situation as a COVID-19 pandemic in 2019-2020 to steal from public coffers, Honorable Speaker. Because KEMSA now became synonymous not with the supply of drugs, vital things for the well-being of the people of Kenya. It became synonymous with scandals and COVID billionaires, people who became billionaires overnight, Honorable Speaker. And we must get to the bottom of all those COVID billionaires, whether it is those who are supplying masks and fake respirators and fake tubes that we had that time, Honorable Speaker. And I want to pray that this committee will be able to bring that report very soon, as the Honorable Chair has committed. But Honorable Speaker, I was saying it is good and to push all our public accounts committees, whether it is those in charge of investments, those that are reviewing the accounts of our parastatals, or the Public Accounts Committee itself that reviews government accounts, to ensure that they bring all their reports in a timely manner so that we are able to arrest the cancer of graft in our country on a timely basis, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, we were just discussing earlier when the Honorable Tongoyo tabled his report or his interim statement on the fake abduction, as has been said, of the Honorable Koimburi. And we are just congratulating the police for their swiftness. I think the House then should learn from the police on the swiftness of acting at the right time. Because when people steal from public coffers, you allow time, people tend to forget. And you know, Honorable Speaker, Kenyans, we have a very short memory. Or we get excited by new things and forget the old. And that is why the corrupt in this country know that they can get away with anything. Because all you need is to buy time. Kenyans forget. That is why the COVID billionaires have been lavishing in luxury over the last 3-4 years, because they assume that Kenyans have forgotten, Honorable Speaker. Many of them used the stolen resources in the last elections. Some now are elected governors, others are members of parliament. I do not know whether there is anyone of us here who was involved. The chair of the Public Investment Committee will be able to tell us when it was the report. But I was just saying that, Honorable Speaker, to encourage these committees, Honorable Angwe's committee, Honorable Amboka's MP. I know they are diligent, and I must indeed congratulate also the Honorable Amboka, because being a first-time member of parliament who is serving with zeal and diligence as a chair of a committee, I can see is clearly following my footsteps, because I was a vice chair of the Public Investments Committee in my first term as a member of parliament, Honorable Speaker, and moved on to become a chair of a committee in my second term. Therefore, to encourage you to lead your committees and ensure that all these accounts are reviewed on a timely basis, and you table reports before the House, because it's not enough to just review these accounts. The more important thing is to adopt reports, or rather bring reports to this House that we can adopt, and then follow up through our Committee of Implementation to ensure that all the recommendations, like those ones that Honorable Angwe has put in this report, even on those on interest, the Committee on Implementation then follows up to ensure that all those recommendations are not in vain, because this House must not and must never act in vain. With that, Honorable Speaker, I beg to support this report. Thank you.
Honorable Member for Turkana North, I'll come to you. I'll write it down.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I want to disclose that I'm a member of this committee. And first, I want to thank my chairman and the members of Parliament, including the Secretariat, that have taken their time to look at this report, to interrogate the clients and come up with the final report. Madam Speaker, I'll speak to the cross-cutting issues that came across when we looking at the 5 corporations. Madam Speaker, we picked that most of these corporations have declining financial performance. And when we realized this by the kind of A&Es that we looked at. And as a committee, we agreed with the auditors that we need to come up, the corporations, the boards. The boards needed to sit down and come up with strategies to see into it that revenues are increased so that these corporations can be able to make payments for their commitments, financial commitments, and also take care of the needs of the corporations. Madam Speaker, we also realized that in most of these corporations, there was delay in the appointments of the board of directors. Madam Speaker, you realize board of directors support management of these corporations. In the absence of these boards, Madam Speaker, you realize there will either be delay in implementation of certain activities, budgets are delayed in approvals, or payments are made and procedurally in the absence of these boards. Madam Speaker, we made a recommendation that we need to look at the State Corporation Act, and so that we can reduce time of appointment of these boards. Those involved in the appointment of the board of directors should look into it that these corporations have their boards appointed within time, so that it doesn't affect the management of these corporations. Madam Speaker, we also realized that some of the reports of the previous PICs were not implemented. And we've recommended that, Madam Speaker, the Committee on Implementation should be able to fast-track implementation of the reports of the previous PICs, so that some of the issues that were brought out by the auditors can be able to be corrected. Because a delay in implementation of those reports also delays a lot of issues that needs to be taken care of. Madam Speaker, we also noted that when the auditors, most of the times when auditors are auditing these corporations, a lot of documents were not availed, and in the process, auditors were not able to confirm areas of irregularities. Madam Speaker, audit is a process, and that being a process, there is a lot of time given to these state corporations to provide evidence of what auditors will require. And so we recommended that accounting officers, whether director generals of these corporations, should be able to provide documents within time. Because in most of the reports, the state financial reports we got, the documents that were delayed during audit time were provided years later. And so auditors were not able to verify and confirm the inquiries that they wanted to pick. Madam Speaker, my colleagues have talked of the delay in accounting of interest. This also was across the board in all the 5 corporations we looked at their financial statements. As stated by colleagues, it is incumbent upon staff and employees of this corporation to follow the laid down regulations that when you pick interest, you should be able to account for it immediately after the 7 days of return. So, and we have recommended that the accounting officers, whether still in those corporations or out of the corporation, are reprimanded for those delayed interest accountability. Madam Speaker, as I conclude, now the last thing is, which I also picked, Madam Speaker, is most of these corporations have many cases in court, and these cases have taken so long to be concluded, and this has delayed a number of decisions that needed to be taken care of by this corporation. We have recommended that the accounting officers put together the list of court cases that are delayed and have them brought before our committee so that we can be able to inform this House and also engage the Attorney General to have these cases fast-tracked. Madam Speaker, most of these corporations didn't have risk management policies and even internal audit structures. We've also recommended that these structures are put in place so that some of the issues that came out should be able to be minimized within these corporations. Madam Speaker, as I conclude, I will request that when this House adopts this report, the Committee on Implementation should be able to move very fast to have these reports implemented so that we could be able to minimize the inquiries that have come out from the audit and financial statements that appear within the audit committees. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I support.
Thank you, and I was requesting maybe if we can each have 5 minutes, because I see there are many people who have an interest in this. So now I'll give it to the member for Central Limeti, Honorable Moses Kirima. Okay, he's not in the House. Next we have Honorable Geoffrey Mwangi, member for Tetu.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity to also rise and support, especially the report from the chairperson of the Public Investments Committee on Social Services, Administration and Agriculture. Madam Speaker, I was a member of this committee until I was surprisingly de-whipped after I refused to support some impeachment motion that came to this House. But that's not the reason I've stood, Madam Speaker. I have stood to support because I was part of this process. And Madam Speaker, one of the things that we encountered when we were doing a lot of these audits, or one of the things that we noted, was mainly the refusal, the delay, or even the manipulation of the necessary audit documents by some of these state corporations. Madam Speaker, I would like to...
There seems to be a point of order here.
Yeah, I've just realized that our digital system, the televisions are not working very well. So I'm worried, is the Hansard on? Is it just affecting the screens, or it's affecting, including the voice? And as you know, it's mandatory. The Hansard has to run. So if we got confirmation from the people concerned,
yes,
or does it only affect the member of Tetu because of his past participation? Because of his past participation, and particularly, Honorable Speaker, for the motion he mentioned. Could we get clarification?
Yes, I can clarify that even when the substantive speaker was on the chair earlier, we already had some problems, and he informed me, but they had already notified the ICT team, so the ICT team are trying to work on it. But I think what happens is, as long as the voice, the sound is there, we'll be able to have the Hansard. I think it's the screens that are having a challenge because the mics are working. Yes, so we may proceed. Yeah. No, we had a problem.
Madam Speaker, unfortunately now, Kenyans will not see me talk, but and especially Tetu people who love me dearly. But that as it may, allow me to proceed and thank you, Honorable Amboka, for the timely intervention, and especially trying to confirm if this is sabotage.
Actually, I'm informed that it's the display of the screens in the House, but it doesn't mean the feed is not reaching our servers. So you can still retrieve it from the Hansard section.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. That is comforting. Madam Speaker, to go to the substantive issues I would like to raise. You realize that a lot of our state corporations, despite this House allocating them